It's been a while since I was this excited about a brand new model airplane, and today it's my pleasure to review this amazing piece of aviation history for you. Of course, I'm talking about the Boeing 747 carrying the Space Shuttle orbiter on its back. NASA had converted two 747s in order to carry their revolutionary Space Shuttle orbiters between missions. This example here, registered as November 905 November Alpha, was the first of the two aircraft to be converted. It flew for American Airlines for a few years before it was purchased by NASA in 1974. As you can see, they opted to keep the iconic American bare metal livery, which always looks good on the 747. The model we'll be talking about today is from the new brand called Patriot Models. It's a smaller brand that focuses mainly on making unique aircraft models in 200 and 400 scale. Dragonwings has made some space shuttle carriers before in 400 scale back in the 2000s, and they're actually quite decent models even for today's standards. However, they are hard to find nowadays and are also very expensive. This model isn't cheap neither, setting you back around $100, but I'd argue for what you get here, it's absolutely worth it. Now let's take a better look at this beautiful model and give it an in-depth review. My reviews are always split into 4 categories. We'll look at the packaging of the model, the mold, the landing gear, and lastly also the printing and quality. All categories get a score which will add up in the end to give the model its final rating out of 10. So let's look at the box and the cool extras we get with this model. We get a very premium feeling hard cardboard box with a flip top. The design on the box features the Space Shuttle carrier flying over New York City and looks very pretty. Together with the model, we also get a well-made metal stand to display the model in flight, as well as a black envelope containing both a collector's card and also a postcard. This is a very nice touch, and I really appreciate the extra effort Patriot Models puts into all of their models. On the inside of the box, the model is also protected by some black styrofoam, which is much better than the plastic cradle we usually get with 400 scale models. Needless to say, this is one of the nicest unboxing experiences I've had with any model I've purchased. In case you want to see the unboxing, I also have a separate short video on that on my channel. I wish every model came in a premium box like this, with the cool extras, so I'll give it a score of 5 out of 5. Now let's look at the mold. The 747 is made by Ajax Models using their excellent 747 tooling. The nose section looks excellent, and so does the iconic hump. The model has one aerial just behind the nose gear and some kind of dome at the back of the 747's hump, which are both accurate to the real aircraft. The wings also look very good, and there is even a flaps down version of this model if that's what you're looking for. Another strong point of this model are definitely the engines. They have the correct shape and are hollow core, so you can kinda see through the gaps of the engine fan blades. The underside of the model looks good too, with the NECA air intakes nicely molded in between the two wings. From the back, the model reveals more detail with a very nicely shaped APU exhaust and well placed and sized vertical and horizontal stabilizers. On top of the fuselage, we have the 3 attachment points for the Space Shuttle orbiter, which are made from plastic and come separately, so you have to insert them yourself. It's a bit of a pain in the butt to put them on, but you do get a pair of spare parts in case you break one of them. The shuttle can then be placed on top of the 747, and that's definitely the highlight of this model. The orbiter is very well shaped and also features the test probe on the nose cone, as this specific one, the Enterprise, wasn't used for space flight. It was launched in air by the 747 for gliding and landing test flights. It's the best space shuttle we have gotten so far in 400 scale, and I'm very pleased by its looks. I wish the shuttle had a separate stand to display it without the 747, but that's not a big deal to me. The modified 747 as well as the Space Shuttle orbiter are both very accurate and well deserving of a perfect score of 10 out of 10 for the Mould. Before we move on, please give this video a like to help out the channel and maybe even drop a comment on your thoughts of this model. It would mean a lot to me. Thanks! Let's move on to the landing gear. The landing gear on this model looks very detailed and is mostly accurate to the real aircraft. The tires do roll and the main landing gear pivots, which is nice when you choose to display the model on the stand like I do. The only real complaint I have is the size of the gear legs. They are just a tiny bit too long, but it isn't a major issue to me. There is a version with detachable gear, so you can display the model with the gear retracted, but I'm not sure if they use magnets for that feature or another kind of solution. Either way, it's another great feature that makes the model more versatile when displaying. All in all, the gear is very good on this model, but I'll deduct half a point for the slightly oversized gear legs, meaning we get a score of 4.5 out of 5. Lastly, let's look at this model's printing and overall quality, as that's an aspect that can easily make or break a model airplane. HX Models is known for their extra attention to detail when it comes to printing, and this model is no different. There is plenty of prints on this model that give it that extra bit of realism. Especially the panel lines between the wings are unique to them and look great. The printing on the shuttle is also very nice, with all the individual heat-absorbing tiles visible on the shuttle's underside. Sadly, the build quality of this model isn't quite as good as I'd wish for, considering this model's price. My model came with one of the horizontal stabilizers detached, which I had to glue back on. I've also heard from other collectors who had similar issues with the wings of this model, so it's definitely a problem that needs fixing. Although the printing is great, the quality of this model isn't not good enough. Therefore, I'll have to give it a 7 out of 10 for those issues. I'm sure you're all here to find out this model's final rating out of 10. I ran all the scores through my top secret formula to finally reveal the overall score of a solid 8.7 out of 10. Personally, I'm a very big fan of space travel, so I had to pick up this model. The quality control issues are a bit disappointing, but overall it's still an outstanding model, well worth buying in my opinion. I also have the previous version Patriot models made of the Space Shuttle carrier in the newer livery with the Endeavour shuttle on it. Both models are awesome, and I can only hope that we'll see more space related models in 400 scale. Hopefully Patriot makes some individual shuttles in the future, or maybe even one attached to the launch system like Dragon Wings did back in the day. Would you be interested in some 1 to 400 spacecrafts? Let me know in the comments. Personally, I would absolutely love a Saturn V from the Apollo missions, or a NASA space launch system like they use for Artemis to return humans to the moon. That's it from my side. Don't forget to subscribe to Swiss400 for more interesting model airplane content. Also, check out one of these videos next, they are some of my best work. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Goodbye, aviators!